big tunnel. Okay, tunnel is underground channel. It starts in the middle dungeon. So let's go see the tunnel. Let's see the female dungeons, the door of return and the door of no return. Then we come to the male dungeon. We end the tour there. Okay, please come. I made mention of 1,000 African men. Now the 1,000 men in the male dungeon were not allowed to walk through here, okay, to the door of no return. The door of no return is right there. But because the English colonizers were afraid of the African men in the male dungeon, they did not allow them to walk through here, through this courtyard. Now imagine 1,000 men on this courtyard and about 5 to 18 of them get on chain. That was the end of the tunnel system. Please, this place is deep. Let me show you the tunnel. Sit down. Slowly, please come in. Slowly, slowly, 2 times. Please come in. Slowly, come in. Slowly, slowly, take your time. So this place that we are in right now is the tunnel system. This is the tunnel system. Now, from where we are standing, we were supposed to be seeing the male dungeon, but because the tunnel got blocked off, that is why we can't see the tunnel. We can't see the male dungeon. But the reason why the tunnel got blocked off was because the slave trade was abolished in the year 1833 here. But the English colonizers were still coming. There was a governor we call Captain George McLean. He blocked off the tunnel later in the year 1834 to officially stop them. Okay? But there was a door here. We call that door the door of no return. Now the original door of no return was very small, right here. So to bring the African men in the male dungeon through the tunnel system and then through the door of no return. But this door of no return got sealed off because the sea waves were very strong. So the English colonizers sealed this door off. After this door of no return got sealed off, that was not the end. The English colonizers will bring them here through this entrance and then to the door of no return, closer to the female dungeons. Are you sure? I'm not speaking fast. Alright, so this place is a very small cell, okay? We call this cell the female punishment cell. That door there is the door we call the door of no return. It is called the door of no return because the moment the Africans walked through this door, they were unable to come back to Africa or come back through the same door. They locked them up. It was in this small cell the women were menstruating, defecating, yes. There's a big hole there. That hole is a drainage. It's like a garden. Okay, the water goes, the women were pooping it. It goes through the ocean. It's underground. Any questions? Alright, so this place is the female dungeon, and there are 2 female dungeons. The other female dungeon is opposite this one. In each one of them, like I said, with 258, 250 women there. So that means we're 500 women at a peak season. The conditions here were very poor. It was in the female dungeon that the women menstruated, they defecated here, they slept here. Those were the only source of light and air for them. 1, 2, 3. Can you all see them? The conditions here were very bad. Many women got pregnant in the female dungeons. All the women who got pregnant were taken outside the castle to give birth. Have you heard of that castle before? You give birth to those children. Names such as Johnson, Wilson, Peterson, Lampson, Addison, Simpson, Wilson, Swansea, Randall, Fiala, that's why the fantasy have said like that. With Johnson, Swansea. Just my guys. That door of no return was a small door. It was right here. Very small door right here. We call this door the door of no return because this is where all the Africans walked through and they never came back to Africa or back to the castles. That is why we call this door the door of no return. But you know what happened? The big slave ships will come closer to the castle. Not too closer, about 85 meters away from here. But the English colonizers will bring small boats. They'll force the Africans onto the small boats and take them to the bigger ones. In that order, all the Africans were forced onto the bigger slave ships, and then they would ship them or they would transport them. That journey is called the Middle Passage. It took them 4 months or more to get to their first destinations, the Americas. And that journey is one of the most dangerous processes of the transatlantic slave trade. Do you know sardine? They arrange the Africans like sardines. So if you're lying here, somebody will lie closer to you. Next person. So if I have a disease, I'll transfer it. I'll infect someone closer to me. Because of that, many of them had diarrhea and cancer and some other skin diseases. That journey is really scary. But over 40% of all the slaves that were taken were transported by the Portuguese. The Portuguese normally transported Africans to Brazil. That is why Brazil has a very large population of African people. Today, I'm going to take you through the Okay, above our heads lies the door of return. Okay. Now this door was not here. During the slave trade, this door was not here. This door of return was established after the slave trade stopped. It was established in the year 1998 as part of a historical festival we call Panafest. But before this door was built here, the door of return, there were skeletons of 2 people that were brought back. These 2 people were slaves that were taken during the slave trade. We call them Samuel Carson and Madam Christa. They were brought to Accra. They died there, so their skeletons were the ones that were brought to Accra. From Accra, they brought them to a place called Abanze. From Abanze, they brought them across the Atlantic Ocean through this door. This is a symbolic book to tell the Black Americans, the Black Europeans, and the Caribbeans that they can return to their motherland because their ancestors were taken, never come back. But you see the rocks there? This is a fishing harbor. It's not part of the castle. It's a fishing harbor that was constructed here just recently. Not too long ago. Dungeon. The floor that leads to the middle dungeon is slippery. You take your time, you walk slow. Let's go. Alright, so this place is the male African man in this chamber. On top of the male dungeon was a church. The name of the church is Society for the Propagation of the Gospel. So when the African men were here, the English colonizers were also worshiping God on top of that. It is an Anglican church. You see that hole there? That hole is connected to the church on top of the male dungeon. So the English colonizers will worship in the church, they'll preach. And the same people stand right there and look at the African man in the male dungeon. This one is bosom. Do you know bosom? In Cape Coast, there are 77 bosoms. This bosom is the leader. But this bosom is called Nana Taber. The bosom, Nana Taber. Yeah. The bosom was established here after the abolishment. It's a shrine or an altar. And I said there are 77 of them in Cape Coast. But this one is the leader. But this wasn't here. This was established here after the abolishment. But right behind me lies a very small cell. That small cell is where all the African men who got sick and blind here were left to die. And after they died, we just dumped them in the ocean. But there was a big tunnel. Do you remember the tunnel? This is where the tunnel is. But the tunnel got blocked off. So when the slave ships arrived at the door of no return, the English colonizers will force all the African men through the tunnel to where we came from. But this got blocked off. Graves are 1, 2, 3, and 4. But this one is for a black man. The other 3 graves are for English or British colonizers. Now this man is called Philip Kwame. His father was working for the English colonizers. So when he was 11 years old, they took him to London to study theology. This man